Today, we're diving into one of the wildest stories in clean energy, the incredible promise of hydrogen trucking, and how that amazing dream got all tangled up in a massive billion-dollar lie.
I mean, just picture it for a second. The very backbone of our economy, the trucking industry, running on clean hydrogen. The only thing coming out of the tailpipe is pure water. It's a vision that could completely change our environmental future.
And that right there is the big question, because we're going to look at both sides of this coin. You get the real, incredible potential of this technology, but you've also got this cautionary tale of a company whose hype just spiraled into one of the biggest corporate frauds we've seen in years.
So, first things first, let's set the stage. Why is everyone so focused on cleaning up trucks anyway? Well, the numbers are, frankly, staggering. So, get this. According to the EPA, transportation is the #1 source of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. And if you zoom in on that slice of the pie, the big trucks, medium and heavy-duty ones, are responsible for a whopping 21% of the problem. That's crazy when you think about how few of them there are compared to cars. So the solution seems pretty straightforward, right? Find a cleaner fuel. And that's exactly where hydrogen fuel cell trucks come in. On paper, they look perfect. You get zero tailpipe emissions, and this is the big one, you can refuel in about 15 minutes. That's a huge deal compared to the hours it can take to charge a big battery electric truck. It really looks like the perfect answer.
Okay, so that's the dream. But building that future? Yeah, that's not so simple. It takes really careful planning and, you guessed it, a ton of money. To see what this looks like in the real world, let's take a look at a super detailed study from the state of Kentucky.
Now, don't worry about trying to read every single label here. The main thing to see in this diagram of a liquid hydrogen refueling station is just how ridiculously complex it is. You have to store this stuff at insanely cold temperatures, then pump it, turn it back into a gas, and then finally get it into the truck. This is not like putting up a new gas station on the corner. It's a massive engineering project.
And yeah, that complexity, it has a huge price tag. Just to build 3 stations for long-distance trucking could set you back as much as $40 million. And if you want to make the hydrogen right there instead of trucking it in, that price can jump all the way up to $100 million. This is the financial reality of building a whole new type of infrastructure from the ground up. And what this really drives home is that this kind of change, well, it doesn't happen overnight. Kentucky's plan is this slow, methodical, 5 to 10-year roadmap. You're talking about building partnerships, applying for grants, developing standards. All of that happens way before the first truck even gets filled up. This right here, this is what real serious innovation actually looks like. So you have that slow, careful approach on one hand, and then you have the total opposite. Let's talk about Nikola Corporation and its founder Trevor Milton. In September of 2020, a bombshell report from a short seller called Hindenburg Research just dropped. It accused the company of being, and I'm quoting them here, an intricate fraud. It was a claim that was about to bring the whole house of cards down.
The collapse was just stunningly fast. The company goes public in June. By September, that report is out and Milton is gone. Fast forward to the end of 2023 and he's been sentenced to prison. And then, just over a year after that, the entire company, a company that was once valued higher than Ford, files for bankruptcy.
But the lie that everyone remembers, the one that's just so shameless, it was this promotional video. It looked like it showed Nikola's big semi-truck just cruising down the highway under its own power. The reality? The truck had no engine. They literally just towed it to the top of a long, gentle hill and let gravity do the rest. They filmed it rolling downhill to make it look like it worked.
And it's really important to remember, this wasn't just a PR stunt. Milton was actually convicted on 3 counts of fraud for lying to his investors, and the lies went way beyond just that one video. He falsely claimed they were building a pickup truck from the ground up and that they had developed their own special battery tech, when in reality, they were just buying them from somebody else.
So, the big question is, how on earth did this fraud get so big so fast? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is the financial tool Nikola used to go public. It's something called a SPAC.
Now, for anyone who's not familiar, a SPAC is basically a blank check company. It's a shell that's already on the stock market. It raises a bunch of cash from investors, and its only job is to go find a private company to merge with. Think of it like a shortcut for that private company to go public, way faster than the old-fashioned way.
The problem, according to critics, is that this whole process is way faster and looser, and it comes with some serious risks. Unlike a normal IPO, there's no quiet period that stops execs from hyping up the stock before it even lists. And prosecutors in Milton's case argued that he took full advantage of this, using social media to pump up the stock to everyday investors before the company even had a single product that worked.
All right, so where did all the pieces land after the dust settled? Let's look at the consequences and what this all means for the future of that hydrogen dream.
For the founder, Trevor Milton, the consequence was prison time. 4 years in federal prison for deceiving investors.
And the company itself? They got hit with a huge fine from the SEC, $125 million to settle the fraud charges.
But, and this is so important, the Nikola disaster didn't kill the dream. Not even close. The U.S. Department of Energy is actually pushing forward with a massive $9.5 billion program to create these clean hydrogen hubs all across the country. And guess who's a part of that effort? Yep, Kentucky. It's proof that the real, steady work is still happening, far away from all the hype and scandal.
Which leaves us with this really tough question. The story of Kentucky and the story of Nikola show us two totally different paths. One is slow, it's expensive, and it's methodical. The other was fast, exciting, and ultimately, it was fake. So as we chase the next big thing, how do we as investors and just as people tell the difference between a true visionary and someone who's just a really good storyteller?